My sister says my master bedroom is too nice for a single person and I should give it to her since she's engaged. She already gave notice on her apartment because she assumed I'd agree. My sister thinks my master bedroom is far too luxurious for someone who lives alone, and she believes I should hand it over to her since she's engaged. She even went so far as to give notice on her apartment, just assuming I would agree. Hello everyone. This story is absolutely wild. But first, if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. The channel has been a little quiet lately, and your support really helps keep things moving. Let's dive right in. Original post. I, a 28-year-old man, need a reality check because my entire family is making me feel like I'm in some sort of bizarre, alternate dimension where property rights don't matter at all. Let's begin with a little background. My name is James, and I'm a software engineer at a major tech company here in Seattle. After years of being disciplined with my savings and living a very frugal lifestyle, I finally purchased my dream home 2 years ago, a beautiful 2-bedroom residence in a high-rise building downtown. The main bedroom is honestly incredible. It's massive and features an en-suite bathroom with a soaking tub, a separate shower, and a walk-in closet that's larger than some people's entire bedrooms. It has floor-to-ceiling windows and a private balcony with stunning views of the Space Needle and Puget Sound. I've invested a lot of my heart and finances into perfecting this living space. I've installed a custom California closet system, automated blackout curtains, a built-in workspace with 3 monitors for when I work from home, a cozy reading nook with built-in bookshelves, and art pieces I've collected on my trips to Japan and Europe. The en-suite bathroom even has heated floors, a bidet, and a rainfall shower system. I really spared no expense. This room is my personal sanctuary. My sister, Emily, who is 26 and works as a teacher, has always been the youngest in the family, and I'll admit she probably got away with more as we were growing up. We've always had a good relationship, at least until now. She got engaged last month to her boyfriend, Tyler, who is 27 and in retail management. They've been together for 3 years and currently rent a studio apartment in a more affordable part of the city. Ever since the engagement, Emily has been coming over more often. At first, I was happy about it. We would get coffee and she would talk about her wedding plans, and I felt like we were closer than we had been in years. I should have realized this was more of a reconnaissance mission. Last Saturday, she came over for what I thought was a casual lunch. We were in my living room, eating sandwiches from the deli downstairs, when she dropped the bombshell. "So, James," she began, setting her drink down with a very serious look, "I've been thinking about the bedroom situation." I was completely confused. What bedroom situation? She gestured around my apartment, as if the answer were obvious. Well, your master bedroom. It's truly a bit much for just one person, don't you think? I chuckled, assuming she was joking. It's a good thing I'm the one person who paid for it then. Her expression didn't change at all. I'm being serious. Tyler and I are getting married next year, and we need more room than you do. It would be much more logical for us to have the master bedroom. You could easily fit in the guest room. It's perfectly adequate for a single guy. I just stared at her, waiting for the punchline that never came. Emily, are you seriously suggesting I give up my bedroom in my own apartment to you and Tyler? She leaned forward, using what I now recognize as her teacher explaining to a difficult child voice. Think about it logically. You're one person in a king-size bed. Tyler and I would be 2. We would need the closet space for both of our clothes. The en-suite would be so much more convenient for a couple getting ready in the mornings. And that balcony would be perfect for romantic evenings. I mean, when do you even use it? Every morning with my coffee, I said without any emotion, because it's my balcony, in my bedroom, in my apartment. She rolled her eyes. You're not listening. I'm not saying we would take over your whole apartment, just the bedroom. We could work out a fair arrangement. Maybe we could even contribute something toward the mortgage to help out. Help out? I don't need help. I can afford my mortgage just fine, which is why I was able to buy this place. God, why are you being so selfish? She was getting agitated now. Do you have any idea how difficult it is for young couples to find affordable housing in this city? Tyler and I are trying to save for our wedding and our future, while you're here hogging all this space you don't even need. Hogging? Emily, I purchased this apartment with my own money that I earned from my job. Family helps family, she said, pulling out what I knew was her ultimate trump card. Mom and Dad helped you with college. They paid for both of our colleges equally, and I already paid them back my portion, which you know. She stood up suddenly. I can't believe you're being like this. I thought you'd be happy for me, finding love and starting a new chapter. Instead, you're choosing square footage over your own sister's happiness. My square footage that I pay $2,800 a month for, plus HOA fees, plus property taxes. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I thought that would be the end of her absurd request. I was mistaken. The next morning, my phone started going crazy. My mother called, her voice dripping with disappointment. James, Emily told me about your conversation. I have to say, I'm really surprised by your attitude. My attitude, Mom? She wants me to give up my bedroom. She wants to share the space. There's a difference, and frankly, it would be good for you to learn to share. You've been living alone for too long. You're becoming selfish. I'm selfish because I want to sleep in the bedroom I pay for. You're selfish because you can't see beyond your own needs. Emily is getting married. This is a very special time for her. The least you could do is consider her feelings. My dad texted later. Your mother is upset. Maybe just think about it. Then the guilt campaign truly began. Emily started sending me links to articles about the housing crisis in Seattle, stories about families living in cars, and statistics about how millennials can't afford homes. Every single message ended with something like, "But I guess some of us are lucky enough to have more than we need." She even posted on Facebook about how grateful she was to have Tyler, who understands that life isn't about material possessions, but about building a future together. The subtle hint was not subtle at all. By Wednesday, I had heard from 3 aunts, 2 uncles, and my grandmother, all with variations of family helps family and expressing their disappointment that I wasn't supporting my sister. Here's what bothers me the most. Emily has other choices. She and Tyler both have jobs. They could move into a 1-bedroom, they could find roommates, or they could live in a less expensive neighborhood. Instead, her solution is that I should surrender my master bedroom and live in my guest room like a tenant in my own home. The guest room, by the way, is 10 by 11 feet. It has one tiny window that faces the parking garage, no closet, just a wardrobe I built from IKEA. I use it for my Peloton, free weights, and storage. But apparently, that is perfectly suitable for me. Am I losing my mind? Is there some alternate reality where this request makes any sense? Because everyone in my family is acting like I am the one who is being unreasonable, and I'm honestly starting to doubt my own reality. Update 1. 2 weeks have passed, and the situation has become far more intense than I could have ever imagined. I need to write down this craziness. After my initial post, I attempted to put the entire thing behind me. I thought Emily would finally realize how absurd her request was, and we could all move on. Instead, she apparently took my silence as an opportunity to intensify her campaign. She texted me last Sunday, asking if she could come over to clear the air and apologize for coming on too strong. I'm a complete fool who believes in second chances, so I said yes. She then asked if she could bring Tyler because he felt bad about the whole misunderstanding, too. They arrived at 2 in the afternoon with Starbucks and genuinely apologetic expressions. Emily gave me a hug and said she had been too emotional before. We sat down in the living room, and for about 5 minutes I thought we were having a breakthrough. Then Emily said, "So, we've been thinking about how to make this work for everyone." My stomach immediately dropped. Make what work? The bedroom situation. We realized we approached it incorrectly before. Tyler, show him what we put together. Tyler, looking like he would rather be anywhere else, took out his phone and showed me a spreadsheet they had made with a whole financial breakdown. It showed their current rent of $1,800 a month for their studio, a proposed rent of $400 a month for me for the master bedroom, and the savings I would have from not having to clean such a big space. It even listed benefits to me, built-in friends, home-cooked meals, and someone to watch the apartment when I'm traveling. See, Emily said cheerfully. Everyone wins. How do I win by paying $2,800 a month to live in my own guest room while you pay $400 to live in my master? You're not considering the intangibles, she insisted. Family connection, coming home to people who care about you, shared meals. I don't want roommates. That's why I bought my own place. That's when she took out the measuring tape. Well, let's just see if our furniture would even fit before we dismiss the idea entirely, she said, already walking toward my bedroom. I followed in disbelief as she burst into my room and began measuring the walls, speaking rapidly to Tyler. Our dresser would be perfect here, and look, there's space for both nightstands. Oh, and this closet, Tyler, come look at this closet. She was in my walk-in closet, running her hands along my custom shelving, when she said the one thing that made me lose it. We'll need to remove some of these shelves, but that's fine. James doesn't need this much space for one person's clothes. Get out. They both froze. Emily attempted to laugh it off. James, get out of the apartment. Now. Tyler mumbled something about leaving, but Emily doubled down. This is exactly your issue. You can't even have a sensible discussion without getting angry. How are we supposed to make plans if you won't even? Plans? There are no plans. This is my home. You don't live here. You will never live here. Get out. I practically pushed them toward the door. Emily was yelling about my anger issues and how I was ruining everything while Tyler kept trying to pull her away. The last thing she screamed was, "I'm telling Mom and Dad about this." 20 minutes later, my phone blew up. My mom. "Did you really scream at your sister?" My dad. "Your mother is crying, call me." Emily. "I hope you're happy. Tyler thinks your family is crazy now." Aunt Patricia. "I heard you made Emily cry. What's happening? The family communication chain was in full effect. By that evening, the story had transformed into me violently throwing them out and even threatening them. My uncle called to ask if I needed anger management. But the worst part came the next day. I woke up to 47 Instagram notifications. Emily had posted a series of stories. There was a selfie in my bedroom. When did she take this? With the caption, "Dreaming of the day, 2 hearts." A picture of my closet with the caption, "Goals AF," smiling face with heart eyes. A photo of the view from my balcony with the caption, "Future morning coffee spot with at Tyler Williams." And finally, a black screen with white text, "When your own family won't support your dreams, broken heart." My direct messages were full of her friends asking what had happened. Was I selling my place? Why was I being mean to her? Some mutual friends were confused, thinking I had promised her the room and then changed my mind. I actually had to post my own story clarifying that I own this apartment, live in it, and have never offered to give up my bedroom to anyone. The fact that I even had to say that out loud is completely unbelievable. Emily then started a group chat with me, her, and our parents, calling it Family Housing Solution. In it, she posted a schedule. Week 1 to 2, James starts moving personal items to guest room. Week 3 to 4, Emily and Tyler bring over essential furniture. Month 2, full transition complete. Month 3, begin trial period of new arrangement. I immediately left the group chat. My mom added me back. I left again. She called, crying, and said I was tearing the family apart. I'm now getting daily messages from Emily with Zillow listings for 1-bedroom apartments perfect for a bachelor and articles about tiny house living. Yesterday, she sent a link to an article titled, "Why Minimalism is the Key to Happiness," with a message that said, "This could be so freeing for you." Tyler hasn't said a single word through all of this. I'm starting to think he's either totally under her control or too far in to escape. I have changed my locks and informed my building's security that no one is allowed up without my explicit permission. Emily called this paranoid and hurtful. I'm seriously considering going no contact until she accepts reality. This can't be normal. It just can't be. Update 2. 1 month later, I thought I had seen the height of her delusion. I was wrong. The last month has been a complete masterclass in manipulation, entitlement, and family dysfunction that would make a therapist very wealthy. After I changed my locks and alerted building security, I experienced 2 weeks of relative peace. Emily was giving me the silent treatment, which was honestly a huge relief. I was starting to think maybe she had finally accepted reality. Then came the ambush. My mom invited me to Sunday dinner last week. "Just family," she said. "Your dad misses you." I should have known better, but I miss them too. I walked into my childhood home to find the dining room set up like a corporate boardroom. Emily and Tyler were there, sitting on one side of the table with their laptops open. My parents were at the head of the table with printed documents in front of them. "Sit down, James," my father said in his business voice, the one he used when he was still working as a financial advisor. "We need to have a family meeting about the apartment situation." "There is no situation," I said, but I sat down anyway, more out of shock than compliance. My mom started, "James, we've allowed this to go on for too long. Family requires compromise. Emily has prepared a presentation to help us find a solution that works for everyone." A presentation. Emily opened her laptop and started an actual PowerPoint titled, "Optimal Living Arrangements for the Mitchell Family." Slide 1, the problem. Apparently, the problem was an inefficient use of space and misallocated resources. Slide 2, market analysis. This showed comparative rental prices, illustrating how much Tyler and Emily were overpaying for their studio while I was underutilizing my 2-bedroom. Slide 3, proposed solution. These were floor plans of my apartment with areas labeled Emily and Tyler space, the master bedroom and bathroom, and James space, the guest room and hall bathroom. Slide 4, financial breakdown. They would pay me $400 a month, but I would save money because they'd share groceries and utilities. She actually calculated that I would save $200 a month with their contribution. Slide 5, lifestyle benefits. Bullet points about how I would have a built-in social life, home security when traveling, and family bonding opportunities. Slide 6, transition timeline. A Gantt chart. A Gantt chart. It showed the move-in process over 6 weeks. Slide 7, guest room optimization. Links to Murphy beds, space-saving furniture, and bachelor pad inspiration Pinterest boards. Slide 8, success metrics. How we would measure the success of this arrangement after 6 months. I sat through all of this in stunned silence. When she finished, she looked at me expectantly, as if she had just solved world hunger. "No," I said. "You didn't even ask any questions about the details," Emily protested. "Because the answer is no to all of it forever." That's when Tyler finally spoke. We gave notice on our apartment. The room went completely silent. Even my parents looked shocked. "You what?" I asked. Emily quickly explained. We knew you would come around once you saw the logic laid out. Our lease was month to month anyway, and this way, we're not wasting money on December rent when we'll be moving. You are not moving into my apartment, but we already told our landlord. Emily's voice was getting louder. Where are we supposed to go? That sounds like a problem that you created by assuming you could steal my bedroom. My mother interrupted. Steal is a very harsh word, James. What would you call it when someone tries to take something that belongs to someone else without permission? Sharing, Emily said. It's called sharing. Sharing is voluntary. This is attempted theft with a PowerPoint. My dad finally showed a bit of backbone. Emily, you really gave up your apartment without asking James first? She immediately turned on the tears. I thought my family would support me. I thought my brother would want to help me start my married life. Instead, he's choosing square footage over family. You chose homelessness over reality. I shot back. That's when the true manipulation began. My mom started crying about how our children couldn't get along. My dad said he was disappointed in both of us for letting it get this far. Emily sobbed about how our engagement was being ruined and how she'd have to postpone the wedding because they would need to spend their savings on a security deposit somewhere else. Tyler just sat there, looking like he wanted to vanish into the floor. I stood up to leave. Emily, you created this problem. You fix it. And to be absolutely clear, if I find out you've been in my apartment without permission, I'm calling the police. You'd call the police on your own sister? My mom gasped. If she breaks into my home, yes. I left to the sound of Emily wailing, and my mother trying to comfort her while shooting me disappointed looks. That was a week ago. Since then, Emily has been calling me from different numbers after I blocked her, and my parents have been alternating between guilt trips and anger. Various relatives have reached out to tell me I'm breaking my mother's heart. Emily even started a GoFundMe for her emergency housing situation. It raised $73, mostly from her teacher friends. She's been apartment hunting and apparently telling landlords she needs a place urgently because her brother evicted her. I know this because one landlord called my building to verify since she listed my address as her previous residence. But here's the real kicker. Tyler reached out to me privately yesterday. He wanted to meet for coffee. Against my better judgment, I agreed. He looked completely worn out. Apparently, Emily had convinced him that I had already agreed to the bedroom swap months ago and was now backing out. She had shown him edited text conversations where my "we'll see" responses to her visiting were presented as an agreement to the plan. He only found out the real truth during the family dinner when it was obvious. I had no idea about any of it. Man, I'm sorry, he said. I didn't know she was like this. She made it sound so reasonable when she explained it, family helping family and all that. I asked him why he was still with her. He stared into his coffee for a long moment. The wedding invitations are already sent. Deposits are paid. And maybe she'll calm down once we have our own place. The poor guy. I gave him the number for a good couples therapist and wished him luck. He's going to need it. As of today, Emily and Tyler are staying with her friend while they look for a place. She's posted multiple times about family betrayal and starting fresh despite setbacks. My mom calls daily to give me updates on Emily's apartment search, as if I care. Each call ends with, "I hope you're happy," or "I hope you can live with yourself." I am living with myself just fine in my own bedroom, in my own apartment, where I belong. Update 3. 3 months after the original post. This will be my final update because I've had to take legal action and I'm totally finished with this entire drama. After my last post, things were pretty quiet for a few weeks. Emily found a 1-bedroom apartment, more expensive than her old place, which she made sure everyone knew about. I thought maybe we could all just move past this. I was ready to slowly try to fix our relationship once she accepted the truth. I should have known the silence was just the calm before the storm. 3 weeks ago, I went to Vancouver for a work conference, a 5-day trip. I was reluctant to leave, given everything that had happened, but I had presentations to give and couldn't miss it. I made sure building security knew I was gone and reminded them about the no visitors policy. When I came back, something felt wrong the moment I walked into my apartment. Nothing obvious at first, just that feeling when things aren't quite where you left them. Then I went into my bedroom. My furniture had been rearranged completely. My bed was against a different wall. My reading chair was gone, replaced with a vanity table I had never seen before. There were pink and gold throw pillows everywhere that were definitely not mine. My minimalist artwork had been replaced with live, laugh, love style quotes in cursive fonts. There was a framed engagement photo of Emily and Tyler on my nightstand. But the absolute worst part was my closet. My beautiful, organized closet had been optimized. My clothes were crammed into 1/3 of the space. The rest was filled with Emily's belongings, dresses, shoes, bags, all organized with little labels. She had even put in additional rods and shelving, drilling right into my custom system. I stood there in shock, then rage, and then took out my phone to call the police. That's when I noticed the calendar on my kitchen counter. The same one from before, but now with official move-in dates and a roommate agreement contract with signature lines. I checked my hidden security camera footage. Thank God I had a secret one Emily didn't know about. 3 days into my trip, my mother had come to the building. She told security she needed to water my plants. I don't have plants, and that I had given her permission. She had a key. It turns out she had copies made from the spare I had given her years ago for emergencies. The footage showed her letting in Emily, Tyler, and 2 of Emily's friends. They spent hours redecorating. Emily narrated the whole thing like she was on an HGTV show. This is where we'll put our wedding photos, and Tyler's gaming setup will be perfect here. They had even started bringing in boxes of their belongings. I called the police immediately. While I was waiting for them, I documented everything with photos and videos. The officers who arrived were professional but clearly thought this was just a family dispute until I showed them the lease, the security footage, and the cease and desist letter I had sent previously. Emily and Tyler showed up at my apartment within an hour, alerted by my mother. Emily tried to spin it as a surprise makeover and said she was helping me prepare for their move-in. She actually told the police that we had a verbal agreement and she was just getting things ready. The officers made them remove every single item they had brought in. Emily cried the entire time, switching between calling me heartless and begging me to see reason. Tyler said nothing, just moved boxes with dead eyes. My mother arrived and tried to intervene, telling the police this was a family matter and they didn't need to be involved. One officer explained that breaking and entering is a crime regardless of family relationships. My mom actually said, "It's not breaking in if you have a key." I pressed charges. Yes, against my own mother and sister. The consequences were immediate and explosive. My father called me screaming, then crying, then screaming again. Emily posted a sob story on Facebook about being arrested for trying to help my brother. Extended family members started blowing up my phone with everything from death threats to Bible verses. My grandmother left me a voicemail saying I was no longer her grandson. Emily's friends started a harassment campaign on social media, and my mother told everyone I was having a mental breakdown and needed help. But here's what else happened. My building implemented stricter security protocols. I got a restraining order against Emily. My lawyer sent letters to my parents and Emily demanding the return of all keys. I installed additional locks and a new security system. And Tyler broke up with Emily. That last one surprised me. Tyler called me a week after the incident. Apparently, the police involvement was his wake-up call. He had been having doubts since the family dinner ambush, but seeing Emily lie to police officers about a verbal agreement that never existed made him realize what he was getting into. She had her whole life planned out, he said, including where we'd live. I kept asking her what would happen when you came back from your trip, and she just kept saying you'd understand once you saw how nice it looked. The wedding is off. Emily is now living with her friend and has moved on to being the victim of both her heartless brother and her commitment-phobic ex-fiancé. She even started a blog about surviving family trauma and betrayal. As for the legal consequences, Emily received a formal warning and the restraining order. My mother was charged with criminal trespass but got a plea deal for community service. The family is completely divided. About half think I'm the devil, and the other half quietly support me but don't want to deal with Emily's anger. I've been in therapy dealing with all of this. My therapist says what Emily showed is a form of delusional entitlement, often encouraged by family systems. She literally couldn't understand that my property wasn't communal family property. In her mind, my success was a family success, meant to be shared whether I agreed or not. My parents are in couples therapy now. My dad admitted he's been allowing Emily's behavior for years because it was easier than dealing with her reactions. My mom still thinks I overreacted but is beginning to understand that she crossed a legal line, not just a family boundary. Last week, I put my apartment on the market. Not because Emily won, but because I need a fresh start. I'm looking at places in a different neighborhood, maybe even a different city, somewhere with excellent security and no family members with keys. Emily found out about the sale, of course she did, and actually texted me from a friend's phone. So you're selling our apartment? Where are we supposed to live now? I didn't answer. There's no point. Final thoughts. This entire experience has taught me that sometimes family can be your biggest threat to personal boundaries. Emily wasn't just entitled, she was delusional, and my parents enabled it to the point of criminal behavior. I've lost most of my family over this, but I've kept my sanity, my autonomy, and my right to live in my own bedroom. That is worth more than keeping relationships with people who think my possessions are theirs to take. To anyone dealing with similar boundary-crossing family members, document everything, install cameras, don't hand out keys, and don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting what is yours. My new place will have a doorman, multiple security checkpoints, and no spare keys for anyone. Emily can write all the blog posts she wants about family trauma. I'll be living my life in my own space, on my own terms. The apartment sold yesterday. I'm closing next month. Emily doesn't know where I'm moving, and I plan to keep it that way. Sometimes the best family is the one you choose, and I'm choosing friends who respect boundaries, therapy to heal from this mess, and a future where my bedroom is without a doubt mine. Edit. For those asking, yes, Tyler is doing okay. We've actually become friends through this strange trauma bonding. He's in therapy too, and is grateful he saw Emily's true colors before the wedding. He sent me a thank you card last week that said, "Thanks for accidentally saving my life." We grab beers sometimes and laugh about how insane this all was. He's dating someone new who apparently thinks having your own apartment is completely normal. What a revolutionary concept, I know.